What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome everyone to another edition of the Walk in His Ways Impact Voice Podcast. I am your host, Furman Jackson Jr. We broadcast once again here in the DFW. That's Dallas Fort Worth, Texas. Everyone wants to know. And once again, this is Wednesday night. We're back here in the studio on this great Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday, of course. We are live streaming right now on Facebook. We're live streaming on YouTube. And I got to give a big shout out to the individuals who've been working with me since day one. I thank you for support as well. And we're back here tonight, man. In the studio with me, my guest, he's an educator, he's a drama, he's a healer, and he has a lot of great things that he's doing right here in the DFW. He reached out to me. We connected, and he's here with me this evening. So go ahead, my guest, man, introduce yourself to the audience here for the very first time here on Walking His Way Impact Voice Podcast.
What's up? What's up, man? Listen, it's honors, a privilege. My name is Casey Muze, and I am the Texas drum educator. And what that means is I don't simply do drum circles. I have lived my life through trial and error of developing education of all of the brain function, cognitive, neurological benefits of daily rhythm activity. And I give a lot of these presentations through what looks like drum circles, but man, it gets busy. It gets broad. And what I mean by it gets broad is I do these things in school districts. I do these things in elderly care facilities like nursing homes, retirement homes, things that give memory care correspondence. I do daycares. I mean, I have partnerships with local nonprofits that exist in Dallas and that go all the way down to East Texas. I've been servicing East Texas or the DFW area for the last year. And that started by me literally just reaching out to yoga studios. That's another thing. I left out the yoga studios. I do drum sessions during yoga sessions. I mean, it's wild, it's broad, it's fun. I love it, man. It's the life that I've cultivated through the gifts God has given me. And I do apologize for I had a whole setup and I had to move my whole setup just so I could have the ability. Man, it's been crazy, but yeah, I'm here.
So that's the most important thing you hear, and that's just the main thing. It's the main thing that you hear, and sure. You have an interesting background, interesting resume on what you're doing when it comes to healing. This is my very first time hearing this. As you presented this to me, so let the audience know what it's all about. How did you, man, if I'm asking you this, how did you get introduced to this healing drama? How did you get introduced to it?
Man, I don't even know if I know the answer to that question. I think I get asked that sometimes, and the only thing that I can give people is just my testimony. I will say that it's been planted seeds from day one, and really, since before I was born, right? Like a lot of these things are just bullet points and segments and timelines that have existed in my life that have added up to, it's like math. These things have added up to one particular moment that I was sitting in a little town called Nacogdoches, Texas, after my transition of residency. So I moved to Nacogdoches, Texas, and I woke up and I pivoted my mind because I have a background of music production and sound engineering and DJing, and I have done that all of my life up to a certain point, like in my early to mid 20s. I woke up in Nacogdoches, Texas in my late mid 20s and said I wanted to shift my focus from music to self entertainment and self fulfillment to transitioning music for serving others and giving education to others and being this tool or this instrument that gives you healing in a place that you have not considered. And the not considered part is highly appropriate because, as you just said, this is the first time you're hearing about this. I get that a lot, right? But it's like at the age of 2, my mom let me explore pots and pans, but then she also is an educator. She's been doing speech pathology for the last all of my life and then some, right? And so just watching her give education and give treatment to others, because she's always been a really outside the box thinker. And then her just putting me in position to get education from other people. I mean, it really is. It's just a lot of bullet points in my life that just allow me to experience a really hard mental pivot.
And I know you brought up some very important, you said self entertainment. I like that terminology. We know we're in the times now where people are looking for healing.
Yeah,
We used to hear that word all the time, healing. Now we hear, traumatized
yeah,
stuff that people may went through or experienced in their childhood, and they never really got the help they needed, and it affected them in their adulthood, or it
right.
affected them in their relationship, their job performance, just your interaction, and until they get to that breaking point where, okay, we're gonna put you on this type of medication,
Hmm.
but all this stuff could be avoided. The medication could be avoided if they really got the proper help they need, which I know medication can help out. But I'm just saying, from the trauma they experienced, maybe there was abandonment, sexual, physically, all
Hmm.
this stuff plays a role in someone's life until they get to that breaking point. Could they allow all this stuff build up through the years into their adulthood?
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I know, you bring up these coin phrases, right? And it does, man. It gets to, like, you hear the word holistic, right? And it being one of them. And then you hear the word, all of the trauma associated, like all of the EMDR, which is a lot of things that I incorporate in my drum treatment, because I'm gonna use some words, but I'm gonna break these words down as I use these words, right? So, you get into what's called bilateral interventions, which are what I what is mainly founded into what I teach, which is simply modalities of treatment that incorporate the left side of your brain and the right side of your brain simultaneously, simply just at the same time, right? And so, what that does, by a long sequence of events and your internal self speaking to each other and all of the things that exist in your body, is it unlocks your frontal lobe, which is, just up here, which does two main things. It allows your ability to problem solve to be higher, through your neuroplasticity to be heightened. What neuroplasticity does is that are your pain receptors and your ability to be more resilient than you were yesterday or 10 seconds ago or 20 minutes ago, just simply by participating in bilateral practices, right? So drumming is what I have come to learn through just my experience of life, is one of the only pure art forms that are considered bilateral, or that touch all the things that are bilateral, right? So what the what that really is founded in are things that touch as many of your senses at the same time. So, like, I have a program that I am a provider of called Trap Learning, which is the Rhythm Arts Project. I'm not talking about trapping in the hood or trapping in the streets, but this is called the Rhythm Arts Project, which is founded by a friend of mine in California, that I've just been blessed to have a conversation with him, and he just inducted me in about 3 years ago. But what that does is that engages in four main senses. It does optical, it does tactile, it does verbal, and it does auditory. So what that is optical is what you see, tactile is what you feel, verbal is what you say, auditory is what you hear. So what you say and what you hear is reinforced, because what you say is also what you're going to hear, right? So then we have vision boards that indicate and dictate and instruct what those things are. And I'll bring a drum in or a bunch of drums in, and it looks like a big drum circle, but guided by me and then the vision boards and the boards that are instructionary, right? So, I provide several drum presentations, and that being one of them. But I don't even know what you asked me, man. I think I'm just trying to cover the basis and go off a little bit.
That's what it's all about: covering the basics, educate, enlighten the listener on, and enlighten the viewers right now, because this is some great information that's being presented to it here tonight here on the podcast,
Yeah.
and to really dealing with the brain and the function of the brain. We deal with so much stuff. We got so much stuff going in our head.
Right.
I was sharing. I had a conversation with a friend of mine earlier. I was talking about the scriptures, and Christ said, "Don't take no thought for tomorrow, but tomorrow take care." So we know when we think about that, we know what we do as beings. We always thinking about tomorrow. That's when the anxiety kicked in.
Yeah.
We worry about, what am I gonna do, eat when I'm gonna get home, how I'm gonna pay this bill. I gotta go deal with this and deal with that. So much stuff is clouding our brain that we're not thinking clearly because we're all over the place. How can we maintain and stay focused on the main thing? Because I know our mind wanders for the next day. Matter of fact, he wanders to the next year, and we still in 2023.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, it does. And that's, this, so another portion of drumming is this, right? So, which is really anything, but I think intuitively when you speak about drumming, so if you're participating in a drum circle, right? One of the main things that I emphasize is only focusing on what you're doing. There'll be other participants around, but you get the opportunity to practice what it looks like to solely just focus on what you're doing and what your thoughts are and what you're feeling and how you can be a conduit or just a member or just a cog in the wheel of everybody around, but only focus on what your part is and not going outside that scope of focusing on what your part is. Because that's why you're there, is to play your role and play your cog and play your piece of the puzzle, right? Once we start escaping or getting outside of that spectrum, man, damage starts to being done, right? And so, yeah, that's very true. It's key is trying to simply just be in the moment and focus on what your job is in the journey.
Yeah, because we know that that's a challenge for even everybody on a regular basis. It's like maintaining focus, unlocking the things that need to be unlocked. Like I said, this is my very first time hearing about drumming when it comes forth to healing. We know that music does play a role in our culture for centuries. You got the type of music that hype you up. You got the type of music that motivates you. You got the type of music that will just relax you. You got the type of music that'll make you feel emotional, where you may thought about a loved one that you lost some years ago, or you may hear that song back down memory lane that's going to bring up some type of feelings from back in the day. And so we have all type of music for different moments and time. And it's like we listen to a song, we just really just go off the emotion of how we feeling at the time. Or we may go to that mode where I'm feeling emotional, I'm feeling sad, or had that type of music where I just feel like crying.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So you do a lot of great work within DFW. What awesome testimonies have you received from this? I know you got a lot of amazing testimonies. What's one of the testimonies that really strike you the most?
Some of my most humbling testimonies are people that I get from the neurodivergent community, which, breaking that down, is those are people that are diagnosed with autism, Down syndrome, ADD, ADHD, or dyslexia, right? Those are the 5 known diagnoses that we consider now as neurodivergency. Which is so funny about that is, when we were in school, ADD and ADHD was simply just a mental health disorder.
Right. Daydreaming.
Right. Looking at it now, is there's a separate scope that it falls under so that treatment and interventions can be different and more appropriate, which I think is absolutely wonderful, right? But when you look at those particular dynamics and you look at individuals that struggle with those barriers or have to walk through those barriers, some of my most humbling responses is when I get is just simply that they can pay attention more. It's like, oh man, my son is able to pay attention so much better, or able to sit in class and just responds better to his teacher, or is able to problem solve through this math problem. Like, some of those are just the most amazing things for me, because those things are not only right now, but those are things that will carry those individuals for the remainder of their life. Just the fact that they are continuing to use the skills that I taught them, or use the interventions that they learned through the course, through the conversation that they had with me, so that they can perform better in their day-to-day life. Like that's what it's about for me, is just creating conversations that give you the ability to perform better without me. It's not about me being big-headed in the moment. It's about me giving you tools to uplift you and saying, oh man, I can use this. I can use this 1, 2, 3, 4 counting later on, or I can do deep breathing later on. And I don't have to hold on to this anger. I don't have to hold on to this aggression. I can simply just go play drums and let this aggression out, and it's okay. As long as I don't physically hurt anybody, it's fine, because these are my thoughts, and it's okay to have these emotions. It's okay to harness these emotions. They are natural, and it's absolutely okay for me to do this.
And we know that it's all about being free. We know scripture said, whom the Son set free is free indeed.
Yeah.
And it's about having that total freedom. And you mentioned with the student being more focused and me more level. We have more resources now. Back then when we was growing up, I mean, to now it's like everything is wide open compared to then with the resources now. 'Cause I know back then if a child really want to like focus, first thing they want to do is put them on some type of medication, somnify them, or put them in like a special ed class or things of that nature. But now it's like, okay, something has to be broken. What is it to get the excitement of someone? Because a lot of times we know that when you're in school, or a child was in school, it's about helping them find something they're very interested in. Because we know that a lot of times people attention span can be short, and if boredom comes aboard, they become idle, look all over the place. It's like, okay, I need to find something that gets my attention. I need to find something that can really just take me to the next level, if that makes sense what I'm saying. It's like, what can I find? What can I find to keep myself interested? What can I keep me more focused, keep me more driven, instead of just getting so idle-minded or getting boredom?
That's true, but sometimes, and that's the case, is we have to train our minds to know what to look for, because sometimes we simply just look for something that will keep our minds occupied, whether positive or whether negative, right? And so sometimes just the discipline to know what is good, or what is edifying, or what is good fruit is a really useful tool. Because just because we are not in a place to where we're bored, because all right, paint the picture, right? So if I am bored or when I was bored as a child, right, I would go, at some point in time, I learned that going to go beat on a drum or playing a drum is good for my spirit, because it allows me to still be in positive nature or in positive emotion, right? Sometimes I also had a habit of, prior to learning that, going outside, and I had a habit of taking aggression out, because sometimes my boredom would lead to me being angry, because me being angry would come from me thinking about school dynamics and kids, about how I didn't necessarily fit in, and just being irritated and being bored. And I would just go find something to tear up, or something to just deconstruct. And so I would tear up a neighbor's fence, or I would do something really stupid, or something that I would have to suffer some negative consequences for later on. But when I found out that I could go just play a drum or beat on a drum for 30 minutes to an hour, it didn't really matter how long, because the goal is to find something that fills your time up, that doesn't allow you to experience the negative dwelling of consequences.
Right. It's like, if you hear that sound, and if it's a good sound, it grabs your attention, and you got to hear where this sound coming from. It's like you hear a great song on the radio, or do people still listen to radio? I think they still listen to radio. Well, and it was the first thing you do. You go look for that song. You Google it. I know I catch myself in the grocery store. If I hear a good song and I like it, I just pull up Google and search a song and it pop up.
Yeah.
Because it got it's like I like the song. It sounds good. It's something I can listen to over and over again. So it's just the whole focus. You hear something that's positive, or you hear not positive or negative. But when I hear something positive, I hear a good song, I Google it and it pops up because it's something that I like, because it grabs my attention. So you hear them sounds, you hear the drums, and it's gonna grab your attention. It's like, wow. And when they hit, and then when you're doing these sessions, what is the outbreak of? When I say outbreak, what's the results of it when in the midst of this session? Is like after it's over with, they just approach you and say something broken. I'm feeling different. What's response you get, Casey?
Well, that also depends on the setting that I'm providing the session. If it is individual session, which individuals usually involve family sessions, so I do family sessions, I do individual sessions, and I do sessions in facilities, right? So that depends on if I'm doing a service session for like a B2B situation, which is business to business. So if I'm doing one for Alzheimer's Alliance of Smith County, right? So my feedback sometimes is just intrigue of what other services I provide and what they look like if my feedback is from providers in that case, right? If my feedback is from participants, then my feedback is typically I just had fun, or a lot of synonyms of this was fun, but they don't really know that I'm instructing them and I'm teaching them things that they can continue to use, unless it's like with Alzheimer's lines, or with older populations, like somewhere between 40 and up, one of the things that I love to tell them is that drumming advocates for deflammatory diseases that exist, or deflammatory positionings that exist in your legs and your body, right? So simply put, what that means is it advocates for chemicals in your body that fight off inflammatory diseases, or just the inflammatory portions or actions that exist in your body naturally. So when I say that, eyes light up.
Yeah, because like I said, this stuff you learn every day, and I know this took you time to gravitate to get all these resources,
Yeah.
to educate not just the whole for yourself, but to help those whom you come in contact with, that they can experience this type of freedom, they can experience this calmness in their life, they can experience walking in total freedom. And like you said, remove all the build up, the frustrations that we may deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I know you mentioned business as well, and that's different. I don't know, inside the business world where you're working in corporate or whatever, we know sometimes the what's the word I'm looking for? They say all the time, the morale.
Mm.
We know we have people who, when they go to work, they be excited, but when they get to work, their morale go down.
For sure.
And the atmosphere they experience, the morale, and maybe dealing with coworkers, the morale. So when you mention the businesses, how has that transformation been when you go in and healing take place and the atmosphere change, and what amazing results have you got from that as well?
Well, business to business, right? I think first time I go, I don't know of any results until I go back.
Okay.
Because and I know it's good because they asked me to come back.
Yeah.
Just in all transparency, right? But I know that it takes time to know what the benefits are received of the participants, because the business has to collect the data from the participants, and then I have to hear back from them. So it may take me 2 or 3 sessions to get personal feedback from them or just things that they say, which is fine. And I mean, this game is a game of patience anyway. We can't have instant gratification on anything that we do
I
that
know,
is
right?
lasting. So that just simply doesn't, the world doesn't make sense like that. But I mean, um, oftentimes the the progress goes on unknown in that case. I will tell you that when I do individual sessions, that if a client has ADD or ADHD, you focus on the attention span. If a client has autism, then you focus on the identification of sensory deprecation. And what that is you focus on adding light, you focus on color choices and what their optical nerves are focused on. And all of that is really important because it allows them to know what that client is more prone to being able to, what setting they are more efficient in, if that makes sense, right? So it's like looking at what color they are more sensitive to, right? Or what shade of light they are more sensitive to in the background of some of the boards that I provide. I mean, all of that stuff is really important.
Yeah, because like I said, it's a great information, and I know we warming up even more, even harder, but it's very educational. All right, here, Casey, for everyone, and your natural last it's Muzu, right? Like I said it's a okay. What's the meaning? I know people right. What's the meaning of that? What's the meaning of your last name?
Muse, it's it's Muse. It's Muse. There's nothing complicated about it. It was actually given to me, and it's really not my last name. It was actually given to me by mentors
Okay.
who saw the fact that I had the highest potential to be in the place of leadership that I'm in now. And I woke up one day and I called one of them. I have, so to speak, I've had this table of, I call them the round table of mentors. It's kind of like the Knights of Templar kind of
Okay.
thing. So they I've had, and this doesn't this is not a thing that exists right now, but I've had 5 mentors that used to sit at this table every single month that have known me on a personal level and talk about what should happen or what advice they're going to give me the next time they speak of me. And those 5 mentors at some point in time started associating me with the name Muse. They would call me Muse. Oh, what's up, Muse? Are you musing today? Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. It's like when I was a kid and I would sit in my room and play beats and try to come up with instrumentals or try to do mix with some DJing or whatever it may be. I would just have fun, and people would text me or call me and be like, "Oh, I'm musing out right now," and so that's something I would always say, and something that I've said since that time. I've never stopped saying that, and it just is something that has been attached and synonymous with my journey.
Man, that's what's up. And let me ask you this. Did you ever imagine your life would turn out the way it turned out today?
No,
No, you.
no, 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 no. I don't know how I imagine my life would ever turn out. I have no clue. But no, not like this.
I mean, yeah, just you giving back, minister, through the gifts and the ability that God's given you, because this is a gift to help millions of people. I say, to come in contact that because we all want that healing, we all want that freedom, and even think about scriptures, whom the Son set free is
Yeah,
free indeed, and everybody wants to walk in total freedom on a regular basis. And that's why I'm thinking about how you mentioned business to business. You know, we have individuals who, when they get to work, they feel down. They feel like they're not fulfilling their life. They feel like, you get excited for Friday, Monday through Friday,
yeah,
we feel down. But when it comes to them 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, we get us Friday, Saturday and Sunday, what you want to say, we get excited.
yeah.
But to really break the algorithm of, okay, I don't want to feel depressed 5 days a week. I want to be uplifted 5 days a week. I don't want to base my happiness on just 2 days. I want to
Yes.
be able to be happy with who I am, be content, of course, and not just allow my emotions to overrun me. On what steps we need to take to reprogram ourselves? I know this is stuff that's been passed on for a very long time. So now it's okay. I want to reprogram myself. I want to be able to change the way I think, how I approach things, how I see things, how I respond to things. Not to respond in a negative way, but to be able to respond in a positive way. But if it does become negative, I don't want it to what's the word I want to say? Capture. I don't want it to allow it to control me. I want to be able to learn how to control it. If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
No, for sure it does. It does. So a couple of things. Um, you are the sum of the top 5 people you spend most of your time around. And so what that means for me is at some point in time, I had to, when I identified that I had a want and a desire to achieve particular things. And I looked around one day and I realized that the people that I was hanging around with most of the time were people that I started to develop habits from that would not allow me to continue to walk into the things that I'm saying that I desire or saying that I want, right? So my walk wasn't mimicking or emulating what I was saying. And so I had to realize that I had to change. I had to at least not hang around these people. So I began to just walk alone for a little bit and just put my head down and work. Then what I realized is that through the work and through giving examples of the work that I desired to have, I realized that creating that example of continuing to do that allowed that spirit and that energy to gravitate to others. And others would ask me what I was doing. And so then I got the opportunity to pick and choose out of those people that were asking me what I was doing, that saw interest in my life, if I really desired to hang around those people or not, right? And then the second thing is what you say matters. The words you choose to say matter. Your tongue is powerful, right? So I had to, this is a highly personal choice. I stopped using the word control because what I realized is nobody is in control of anything. I'm not in control of who sees anybody from this podcast, right? And frankly, neither are you. We can put it out in this particular place. We can hope these particular people see it, but we have no control over anything, right? We can go to bed, post, laying all of our clothes out for the next day, ironing them out, putting the coffee in the coffee grinder, right? Making sure that the book bag has all the stuff in it that we're going to put in the car so that we can get out and our life be as smooth as possible, right? But what if we run over a nail and our tire goes flat? Control is something that never exists. Now, catalyst to that, and with this is people can take this, people can leave this, but I mean, you're asking me a question, so I'm gonna give you the 2 cents that I desire to tell you based on the question, right? So I've replaced the word control with influence. I can influence everything and anything to happen. But by using the word influence for me allows me to be flexible and understand that this just may not work out. And if it doesn't work out, it's cool because I can move with it. It allows me to be able to troubleshoot and me to be able to problem solve at the drop of a hat.
And that's what's up right there. So I got a good big shout out to Sheena King from my hometown of Mobile, Alabama. She's watching. She said I'm learning something new, and that's what it's all about. It's all about the words. It's all about putting it out there. You
Yeah,
have individuals who look for big numbers,
yeah,
but Scripture tells us if two or three are gathered in my name, I
Mm.
shall be in the midst. We know that it's not about being moved by numbers. It's all about the message going out to somebody. Because once we go out to the atmosphere, the word is not going to return void.
Yes.
So if we reach one person, that's enough said. And that one person can take it to another person. It's
Yes.
just that whirlwind effect because, like you said, we're not in control. We influence, but not in control. But all we do is just put the word out there, and eventually it's going to gravitate to somebody. We don't know where or when, but we know it's going to gravitate to somebody.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, so we got to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to jump into our conversation. So if they get everybody for tuning in, we're going to do a quick commercial break, and then we're going to jump right back into our conversation.
Hey, girl, you looking good, shorty. Hey, let me get that number, man. You feeling me, you know? You sure? Come on, man. You good? Have a good day. What? I can. Oh, damn. Hey, man. Tell me what happened right there, man. You know, I guess my ribs ain't up, man. Don't worry about it, bro. They used to do that to me all the time, man. But I got a little something for you, man. Just a little vitamin P, man. Change your life, man. Take a few of those, man, to see how it
Okay. We're going to see.
Follow me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back here on Walking This Way Impact Wars podcast. I'm the host, Furman Jackson Jr. With me this evening is Casey Muze here in the DFW. Very interesting, brother. I encourage everybody to get in contact with him, follow him on all social media platforms. Information, you have questions, he'd be glad to answer your questions. It's very educational on what he's bringing to us. I know you have your organization, Avenue Speaks. Why Avenue Speaks? Why of all out of all the titles, why run would go with that one?
So, and it's Avenue Speak. It's singular. Um, when I lived in Nacogdoches, Texas, I started a nonprofit called Star Avenue CO, and the reason why I named it Star Avenue CO is because the start of that nonprofit was bonfire monthly celebrations of artistry at my house. And so, like, 1 month I would have drums, 1 month I would have writing, 1 month I would have painting, 1 month I would have, and it was just a rotation, right? And it at some point in time I learned the historical contents of Star Avenue in reference to the city of Nacogdoches, which goes into African American heritage. There's a whole deep bloodline thing, and it's insane. And the name Avenue just became something that was affiliated with me in Deep East Texas. And I moved to Tyler about a year before I moved to Tyler. In fact, during COVID, I started Avenue Speak. And so Avenue Speak was born out of Star Avenue CO. And the rest is history.
And that's what's up. And so, how can the individuals plug in with the organization? How can they get in contact with you business wise, things of that nature?
Yeah, so there's the website avenuespeak.com. I am on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Everything is avenuespeak.com. Everything like Facebook is Avenue Speak, Instagram is Avenue Speak. The TikTok is not Avenue Speak, it's Little Drummer Boy. Right. Yeah, all forms of social media. I'm pretty active. I'm pretty heavy on social media. My blog is attached to my website as well, where I do just shout outs and I blog about other people and other things. I'll blog about other businesses. So if you want a promotional slot or blog written about you, let me know. We can get that going too as well. I got a riding workshop coming up in Tyler, Texas, and so an adolescent riding workshop coming up in Tyler, Texas. And so I'll be there for that. And yeah.
And I say just the work that you're doing, something that you love, something that you're passionate about. How is that feeling for you that hey, I'm doing something that I love to do? We don't Individuals are looking for that on a regular basis. It's like I want to do something that's fulfilling. I want to
Right.
do something that's joyful. And I know that a lot of things, fear comes in, or it may be bills, responsibility may comes in, and
Yeah.
that's what holds them back. But what you do. What is that experience like? That hey, I'm doing something that I really love doing.
Man, the it's it's pure freedom. It's like it is just internally free to know that I literally get to wake up in the morning and decide that I want to and just go play drums with people and teach people all the things that I know about drumming and all the internal cognitive things, neurological things. Like, and simply put, like I had a friend tell me one time, you literally took your coping skills and the things that you use on a daily basis and you made an education platform out of them. I mean, essentially, that literally is what I did, what I have done is I've taken the things that are from my childhood that I love to do and put it into an education platform. I mean, it's humbling. The journey has been humbling. It's cool. Uh,
And you know what? And that's what it's all about. Um, the freedom. It's just really a joyous thing that you're doing something.
yeah,
Not that you're doing it for yourself, but you're giving back to others.
yeah,
From different age groups, from different rank, a variety of people, from the elders to the youngest. And we
yeah,
know what scriptures about from the elders to the youngest and stuff like that. So and it's a beautiful thing. I know you work with them. You mentioned earlier like daycares, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
a lot. Take me on that on the first time you did a daycare setting. How was that experience?
Hmm. That's been some time ago. Um, yeah, man. I think so. The coolest daycare experience I've had is just because the name of the daycare. No, actually, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna tell you about the first time I did a school in Longview, Texas,
Okay.
because this school is quite synonymous with my walk because it's actually a school that my mom worked at for at least 5, 6 years. I may be saying
Okay.
wrong, but several years, right?
Okay.
Um, but then it's a school that I also did my Eagle Scout project at. And yes, I'm an Eagle Scout. For those of you who may not know anything about that, feel free to ask me questions about that. I encourage all African American boys to get in the Boy Scouts and make Eagle Scout. It'll make you shine for real.
Mhm.
It's another level of professionalism. I encourage that. But
Okay.
um, I got asked to come to that school and do a drumming presentation during February, which is Black History Month, which is like just the fact that I got the opportunity to be in that school and play drums with the teachers and facilitate the teachers giving instruction to their students was such a cool experience.
And then that's what's up right there on that one. Also, yeah, I know you said the Boy Scouts. I know you said you did Boy Scouts, and you
Yeah,
said that's a whole nother level of professionalism.
yeah.
Break it down to us, news on that. When you said a whole nother level of professionalism, we never thought about it. Can you give me a whole new light
Yeah,
on the Boy Scouts now? Go
man.
ahead and break
So
it down to us.
right. So look, man, when sometimes I will get asked by black mothers what they can do to help their kids get ahead in life or have a leg up or have an advantage. And I tell them, put them in Boy Scouts, make sure they make Eagle Scout. Do not let them get out. Advocate wholeheartedly that they stay in until they make Eagle Scout. right? So Eagle Scouting is the rank of Eagle Scout is the last and final step or final accomplishment that you can achieve in the organization of Boy Scouts. No matter what the tabloids say about it, no, like hearsay is drama, whatever, right? What
Mm-hmm.
matters is that you have your, because you speak about resume, right? One of the things that I can put on my resume is not that I'm an Eagle Scout, but the fact that I show up in a interview and now I'm a black Eagle Scout. I'm not an Eagle Scout. It's different because my skin pigment is darker than most people that make the rank of Eagle Scout. And I'm gonna throw some numbers at you in a minute, but the level of things that you learn through the organization of scouting are things that are considered right below an entry level people per an entry level person that exists in the military. So if you make Eagle Scout, if you enlist in the military, you're already a notch or a level above everybody else, right? When you make like I've gotten tons of jobs, I've gotten tons of compliments, I've gotten tons of opportunities that I should have not gotten based upon everything else that exists on my resume simply because I'm an Eagle Scout, right? But throw the numbers at you, right? So less than 1% of boys that enter Boy Scouts, the organization of Boy Scout, make Eagle Scout. How many of those numbers are black?
Not that many.
How high do you think that makes you stand out?
That's interesting.
Like it, you can't even put that into a number because it's a decimal. You
Mm,
can't, right?
right.
Yeah. So all black, all black parents, put your boys in Eagles, put your boys in Boy Scouts and make sure they made Eagle Scout.
Yeah, I never know. I never knew that. I know a lot of times in our community, well, we always put, our kids. It's not knocking. So I love sports,
Yeah,
football, basketball, but we always was okay, good into sport. Well, with basketball, football, and that's gonna take you on to the pros and stuff like that.
yeah,
But never thought about other stuff. Like I said, that's the first thing come to mind when it comes to our community is okay. I
yeah,
gotta put my children in sports.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I'm from that community. I know exactly right. And that's why I say that. That's why I speak so highly into that because that is the default of our culture is to put our boys and put our girls in sports and everything else that is stereotypically associated with our culture, right?
Right.
But outside the box, outside the grain, that makes you stand out.
And we want to stand out. We want to be our own leader. We want to be our own individual that I beat to my own drum and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
man.
this was
Listen, I will tell you, dude, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you if I had not made the rank of Eagle Scout. I wouldn't have learned some of the things that I've learned that allowed me to be as disciplined as I am and as creative as I am to be in a place to create something like Avenue Speak.
and I'm saying, Muse, this is a very great thing you bringing up. Big shout out to Sheena. She said this is very helpful. See, like you bringing stuff into the fruition that we never thought about. And I remember I used to know about the Boy Scouts growing up,
Yeah,
but we never looked into it. Like I said, we was
I
always
mean,
into
it's a joke. We never took it seriously. It's that thing that white boys do, like right? Like, come on,
yeah,
man, for real. Like, keep it in a buck, keep it transparent. That's what it is. It's like we got made fun of, we got poked around, we got teased. But at the end of the day, it's not about it. Well, it is because then you tie it back to trauma, but it truly is about how you set yourself up for success and wide
right,
scope so that you can have as many options as possible. If you
right.
create a life that allows you to have options later on, you have the opportunity to be more successful than others.
Most definitely. And that's what we want to do. We want to be ahead of the game. We're going to take another quick commercial break. And after that, we're going to jump back into our conversation with Muse. Be back after the commercial, everybody.
Write
Sure.
your next hit stage play with Sheena D.
What up, everybody? How you feeling? You're shooting stretch 6x6 phenomenon from WHUR on the set of this wonderful play that we just witnessed for a 2-day event called Crucified.
I knew it was the boy. I don't like him. No, Mom.
Writer, director, and producer of hit stage play Crucified. Backed by popular demand.
I gotta say, this was a great piece of work.
Damn! Oh, how you moving that chocolate with all the muscles and your grill messed up? Come on. Oh my God! It's like finding a Snicker with no nut. I know, baby. I know. Come on.
What are you waiting for? Head over to sdhentertainment.com now to sign up.
What's up, everybody? We're back here on the Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. Big shout out to Sheena D. on. She's the founder of SDH Entertainment in Washington, D.C. That's her play Crucified. Big shout out to her. She's doing great things also. So before we went inside commercial break, we were talking about the Boy Scout that Muze brought up. Something I never thought, this was mind-blowing to me because we never thought about it, especially being in our community. Like I said, we thought Boy Scout, well, okay, what white kids do.
Yeah.
But it benefits a lot. You know what? When you say that, I just think about how much gems that we missed out on.
Yeah.
Because we look at something, oh, that's foolish, that's dumb. But Scripture tells us that he used the foolish things to confine the wise.
Right.
And how we just overlook this stuff. Just like military, I heard some guys talking about, if you don't know the military teach you about structure. We first do hear about the military, or they're going to send me to war and all this other stuff, shoot guns and everything. But they got it with the military. They say, no, they teach you. They test you, see what your abilities are. Whatever your abilities are, they put you there.
Yeah.
They teach you about structure. And that's something that I'm looking on information on structure, having to maintain the structure of life. Because you mentioned something, creating a life that we want to live. Because when you tell people you create the life you want to live, they'll take it the wrong way. They'll try to say, oh, you think you're God, but we are created beings because we're made in the image of the Most High. He created heavens and earth. We create too. We create with our words. We create with our thoughts. And a lot of times we put ourselves in these positions because of our thought pattern, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Our wording.
Yep.
So what steps, so you say creating, like, in your own opinion, what steps to those that's listening right now, what would be the first that they need to do, to create their life? Because the scripture tells us that he said, I came that you might have life and have life more abundantly. So in your personal opinion, what advice do you give to ones who want to start but don't know where to start?
Yeah. There's tons of places I can go with that. So, I mean, and I would say the first two are really change the people you around. And the second one would be change the wording or the verbiage you decide to say. But like outside of that, I would say figure out what brings you the absolute most joy and work on a life that champions the things that bring you the most joy. I don't care if they are unpopular. I don't care if they fit status quo. I don't care if they are things that are things that people don't understand. Like, and a lot of times it will be the very thing that you get the most ridiculing from, whether it be from family members, whether it be from friends. Well, I mean, if it's from friends, they really ain't your friends. No way. You need to figure out what that looks like and go into a place of just unpacking and dissecting where your influences really are, immediate influences, right? But yeah, like, man, nothing that I've ever done and nothing that I'm doing right now has ever been popular. None of it. But I knew that at some point in time, it just made me so content and brought me so much joy. It took me a while to learn how to step into it to where I didn't really care what people thought about it at some point in time. And now I'm very to the point to where other people's opinions about what I do and how I think just simply doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
because I know that it has given me the fortitude to continue to press on and move forward in God's will that is called for my life. And you said something really powerful when you said God has given us the ability to create under his authority, right? And if you understand that, and if you know that, then you really are creating the life that you love and the life that you want to live. It is designed by him. He's given you the parameters. He's given you the tools. He's given you the wisdom, right? But he also has given you full authority and decision making over what it looks like, right? So now he's telling you to go create. Now he's telling you to go move, right? I mean, he's also telling you to don't forget whose you are, don't forget who you are, don't forget whose you are, right? But go create, right? And so I think it's something that we miss. All right, no matter what your culture is,
Right.
no matter if you're black, no matter if you're brown, we miss that. And I think sometimes the people that get that, and such as me, I think sometimes the people that get that, we get it late in life. Like I would even say that I got it late in life, or maybe I didn't. Maybe I just applied it so late in life, right? If that makes sense. Because sometimes we receive energy and we receive information from others. We really don't understand how to and what it means until later on, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, because you mentioned something like we may apply it later in life, but big shout out to my sister's watching too. She said, "Go be fruitful and multiply." Big shout out to her.
Come on.
You said something, Muse. Are we missing something? We're missing something. It's like, have we fully tapped in to what we're supposed to tap in? You know, will allow the influence, the outside influence, whereas a lot of times be negative. It's just like people. I look like individuals. You look at individuals who murmur and complain all the time. What they do, they gravitate to other people that murmur and complain a lot. But if you got the ones who are go-getters, the go-getter will always connect with another go-getter. Okay, like this one. Scripture says us, you walk with wise men, you become wise. You walk with a couple of fools, you be destroyed. So
or iron sharpen iron.
Right. So you mentioned about the company that we keep.
Oh yeah.
You know, all right, let's see. She said, are we really, let me see what she, got a question. Okay. She said, are we really missing it or just overlooking it?
No.
That's interesting.
Say it again.
All right, the question is, she said, are we really missing it or just overlooking it?
Prospectively speaking, those two things might be the same thing.
Yeah, because when I look at that, are we missing it? Or are we not paying attention?
Yes.
Or is it right there? Or are we still overlooking it? You know, the answer could be in your face, but we're looking all in different directions until they hit you in the face. And you're like, oh, okay, that's it.
Yes.
Because we know we're going through this life journey, finding things that are fulfilling us. What fulfills me? What brings me joy? You know, a lot of times we look to the people. You know, you heard this cliche all the time. Well, this person makes me happy. Why does this person make you happy when you should be already happy?
Yeah.
So if this person so when this individual leads your life,
yes.
So you're not gonna be happy no more. And we never was taught that. It was always not to believe in ourselves. Love yourself. Even the Bible tells us, love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. People think when you love yourself, they think that's a narcissist trait, and it's not. When you love yourself, you can protect yourself, you can do better by yourself.
Yes.
And you're not gonna allow anything or anyone to come in to corrupt your kingdom, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
No, it makes full sense. Can I elaborate on that? Do you mind?
Go ahead.
So the word happy, can I do a word breakdown?
Yeah. Go ahead. Break it down.
So if you break down the word happiness, right? and you look at where it comes from. So when I look at the word happiness, I look at the word happenstance, as in I am waiting on something to happen or somebody to happen to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So happenstance means this is periodical or this is temporary. This is happening in a period of time and it's not going to stay forever. Like even in relationships, right? You may say, "Oh, this person makes me happy." If that's true, if you say that, cool. I like, that's where you're at. I understand that. Like in a marriage, cool. But understand that circumstances are not always going to be so set in stone. They are for a period of time, right? Like that person's
Mm-hmm.
mannerisms may shift. The way that person says goodnight may shift and it may irritate you. The way that person rubs their feet in the bed in the middle of the night may irritate you, but it may be different than what it was in the last season of life, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
what makes you react? It simply just makes you shift. It makes your emotions alter, right? Right. So happenstance, happiness, maybe not be something that we need to take so personal or wholeheartedly. In fact, biblically, if you look at happy, it's not mentioned in the Bible so much as the word joy.
Right.
Maybe we should look at the word joy or joyous or joyfulness, because
Right.
that's something that is internal in our spirit that we can continue to pour into others but not lose.
Mm. Man, that's what's up right there. I mean, it really is to breaking the algorithm,
Yeah.
breaking the algorithm, breaking. I, it's like I don't want to do what the world is doing.
Yes.
I want to find my own pathway because we get so caught up. Okay, the world is doing this, they're following this, they're doing that.
Hmm.
Bump that. I'm looking on finding my path, my
Yeah.
journey, my mission statement, my
Hmm.
rules, my laws. Like you mentioned earlier, we can't control nothing else. We can't control what's going on the outside, but to influence. I like that, to influence, but also instead of saying control, but influence myself at the same time. Also
Yes.
influence myself in a good way, positive way. Like I said, Muse, we in a generation now. We have a lot of great information. We have a lot of resources because you showed something today about the Boy Scouts that I didn't even think about. And I'm
Mhm.
41 years old. And within 41 years, you want to say, never thought about the Boy Scout that way.
Yeah.
And it just be thinking about how many gems that we missed out on because we did think that it was a popular thing to be a part of, or not. Because I hear you, the foolish thing they can find a wise. It's just like the Karate Kid. Remember the Karate Kid with
Oh,
the original
oh,
Karate Kid,
with
and
Daniel's son.
yeah, with Daniel's son, Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
Daniel wanted to learn about, he thought it was all about kicking and punching, but Mr. Miyagi introduced him to, hey, well, I want you to wax these cards. Well, I'm supposed to be doing this, but see, in Daniel's mindset, he talking about it's all about kicking and punching, but learning the arts of martial art is more than just kicking, punching, and fighting.
Yeah. It's the discipline. It's changing mental direction.
See, that
Yeah.
right there, and that's changing the mental direction. Well,
Change.
nobody agree to get off the air.
Change.
That's.
Yeah. I also, man, I wanted to go on another tangent. I could do
Go
tangent.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Don't give me permission to do it. So it's almost
No,
like,
because what you got, somebody need to hear that, and you never want to hold that off because somebody need to hear that.
yeah, okay. So it's almost like in a place of repentance. And I'm gonna I hope I touch nerves when I say that. Almost in a place of repentance, because when you hear the word repentance, you often think of apologizing or I've messed up or humbling yourself, right? But when you look at the word repentance, all it's really asking you to do is change your mind. But you got to do the pre-work before you change your mind. Is you got to change how you consistently think about it so that you can consistently change actions that are correlated to your mental state of positioning, right? So when you look at repentance, it's how do you repent for your mental thought process?
Man, that's so. I hear now people say Muse is me versus me. You know, usually people used to say I got haters, I got haters, I got
Yeah.
haters. We
Yeah.
got away from saying I got haters and then saying I'm like what Paul say, woe is me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Paul didn't look at nobody else. Paul said, woe is me. And I'm glad we get into that mindset now, Muse, to the
Yes.
point of saying, instead of looking at my neighbor, my haters, that they say, is
Yes.
woe is me.
Yeah. You look at yourself.
Because at the end of the day, we'd look at that man, or that if you're a woman, do that woman in the mirror, the man in the mirror.
Mhm.
That'd be the first individual you see in the morning, the last one you see at night. And you have to go back. That's why I understand why they have in football practice, they always have game film. They always have film not to show what you did right, but they show you the film what you did wrong.
Yeah.
And they'll point out, okay, you need to correct this. So go into
Yeah.
our own mental film room. Okay,
Yeah.
I need to focus on what I did. Okay, I did this wrong. Okay, now I need to tighten up in this area. Because we focus on the good that we did, we won't do anything else. Oh, it's fine, I'm good.
Mm.
But always focus on the wrong, but also correct the wrong. So it's like we won't repeat it again.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the book The Alchemist, by Paulo Coelho, you know how we say, I'm looking forward to the future?
Yeah.
You heard that cliche?
Yeah.
I'm looking for, but he broke it down. He says, only you can do is correct your present. Don't the future will take care of itself. I'm paraphrasing, because if you're still doing the same thing in the present, you just gonna carry on into the future. So
Yes.
another way of saying, okay, you change whatever you want to change, you change it now. You're present. So once you go into it will all be taken care of. I'm paraphrasing, but it was so interesting because we always used to say, I'm looking forward to the future, but we
Yes.
still have these negative habits. We still have these prejudgmental thoughts about ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
all we're gonna do is repeat the same thing over again if we don't correct it now. So I'm like, it's like, whoa, it is me.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. I know about we could leave the studio here on the show. It was a great show. Great information went out. I appreciate everybody that's in the comment section really tuned in. Like I say, it just the word go out there and then the universe goes out there in the atmosphere and it would not turn void. So musical, you have any final remarks for the listening audience? Go ahead and plug in your information from your social media. How can people follow you? How can they get in contact with you? If they
Yeah.
have any questions and all the other stuff, go ahead. The mic is yours.
For sure. For sure. No last words. Just follow me. Follow my journey on avenuespeak.com. You can find me on Facebook. My personal Facebook as well is Casey Muze. You can follow my professional Facebook at Avenue Speak. Instagram is Avenue Speak. All of those things, man. My blog post is on my website. So if you want to be featured on my blog post, we can have that conversation. Please, please, please message me. I love these conversations. I would love to continue any and every question you may have. I welcome them all. In fact, I've gotten one right now. I'm looking forward to responding to and continuing that conversation. So
Okay, awesome.
I love, and I'm enjoying that.
Man, awesome. I appreciate you, Muse, for taking time out of your productive schedule to be here on the show with me here tonight. I said, you fill me up tonight, you know what I'm saying? Give our most high power to the most high. What you said, the words that went out, the influence. Don't say control, say influence.
Mhm.
So, and that's another thing I got away from too. I got away from the word trying. Because
Yeah.
when I hear the word trying, it's like I don't believe. So it's
Yeah.
like you wait. Y'all hear people all the time like I am trying. No, I said don't say you
Yes.
trying. You are doing.
Yes.
So so we got to be
Yes.
careful.
because it's almost like I'm gonna do this until it gets hard, and then I'm gonna quit.
Mm.
And yeah, it's just like yeah, that's something I stopped saying a long time ago.
Yeah, I just stopped saying. I don't say try. I say you doing. You just doing. So like I said, we better get leave here, man. I want everybody to have a great night. Remember the graveyard. Big shout out to Steve Deacon Williams. I got this from him. He said, I always remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. They thought they were gonna see tomorrow, and they didn't. Remember, let's live life like it is our last. Love yourself, respect yourself, work on yourself, better yourself. Don't just do it for other people. You do everything for yourself. That's another thing I learned. I learned that everything has to start with self first.
Yes.
If you want to work out when you want the nice body, do it for you. You want the nice car, do it for you. You want the house, do it for you. You want the money, do it for you. Let's stop basing our life expertise on other people, and let's start putting them on ourselves. Because at the end of the day, we gonna be here for ourselves. They're gonna be long and gone, but we still gonna be here with ourselves. And that's it. So, Muze, you have anything else you want to implement before we leave?
I do not, man. I've enjoyed my time. I appreciate you and your ability to create the space for myself and other people to come speak and have a word with your audience and sharing audiences with your guests as well. And until next time, I know we'll connect soon and connect in the DFW in person for sure.
You know it, and you know it. So, man, y'all have a great night. Enjoy your Wednesday. Go into your mental film room. Go back on what you could done better. You know, just a little bit. We come to evolving, right? So we all are working to make it. Now we'll be back here next week here on Walking This Way's Impact Was Podcast. And then, man, y'all have a great night. Enjoy your Wednesday evening. And most important, man, y'all be blessed. We out of this thing. Peace.
Peace.